Hey everyone, this is James,
Marco,
Nabil,
and Mikey.
And welcome back to the Movie Pals podcast. This is episode 211, and today we're continuing our segment, The Pals' Favorite Films of the Century, followed by a review of Predator Badlands. Let's get into it.
All right, and we're back with The Pals' Favorite Films of the Century. So, as you'll remember, we're counting down from the year 2000 to the current year of our favorite films. Last episode, we went over the years 2000 and 2004 with each pal, going over 2 honorable mentions, then a countdown of their number 5 to number 1 picks. This week, we're going to go over 2005 to 2009. So let's begin. And we're going to start this week with James.
Okay. So, my 2 honorable mentions, I think pretty good ones. My first one is 2005. It is King Kong, directed by Peter Jackson.
Very
Nice.
For some reason, this movie I saw so many times in theaters, guys. I don't know why. I kept getting free tickets. There was like DVDs they were selling at the time with like free ticket to see King Kong. So I swear to God, I saw this movie 4 times in theaters.
Oh, wow. When it came out.
Yes.
That's a long movie, too.
3 for me.
You saw it 3 times? Yeah. So I saw it a lot. It was really good. I thought it was I've never still seen the original one, actually. I just thought it was good. He was fresh out of doing the Lord of the Rings movies, and this is the next big thing. I remember the video game just came out too, and I was like, I gotta check it out. So I loved it. I think it still holds up today too, even. So my second honorable mention is from 2007, and it is Transformers, directed by Michael Bay. This movie was a big deal when it first came out.
Yeah, it was an event. The first one.
It was. No, this one was it was like a big deal. I remember, man.
Yeah.
I remember I guess we're just going to I took like 2 different girls to see this thing like 2 or 3 times, I think.
You want to understand who I am? Watch this movie.
Like every time they were like, I haven't seen it yet. I was like, well, guess what? We're going to go check out Transformers. But yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, that was my first time really like noticing. I was like, maybe Shia LaBeouf can be a lead actor, you know? And then, it's just, oh no! So let's get to my number 5 pick. My number 5 pick came out in 2006. It is Casino Royale, directed by Martin Campbell. So I thought, first Daniel Craig, 007. I thought this movie was awesome. So much Sony product placement in it too, I remember. Just so many.
Cell phones,
one of the first
laptop.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the cell phone, Nabil. Remember that when he hacks in? He's like, whoa, I got this Vario one. So I was like,
I've seen so many Sony Ericssons in this movie. Not in real life,
no.
but in that movie.
Yeah, no, true. I remember it was like a big deal too for like home release. This is one of the first like Blu-rays that was like really like good looking too. I remember there was like a sound quality to it. But yeah, a lot of good memories with that one. Start of a really good reboot of 007. Kind of a grittier one, like we talked about last time, Nabil. Like you like Born Identity, they took a lot from that going into this one with that kind of darker, edgier kind of feel. Kind of went back to more of the Connery kind of feel of things too, in a way. Less corny, obviously, but
a bit more
kind of is more. Yeah, exactly. My number 4 pick is Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith from 2005 as well, directed by George Lucas. This once again, just Star Wars. Like I can't leave it on. This is just one of those movies.
Star Wars.
Plus
like
the rewatch recently.
We quote this quite a bit, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, we just watched it in theaters this year, so good times. It's just Anakin becoming Darth Vader, everything in between, a lot of merchandise. I just remember just being so hyped for it. Once again, also I did read this right before I watched it as well, just like episode 2.
Oh really? Yeah.
So it was also spoiled for me, but I didn't care because I was like, I want to know everything already. So my number 3 pick is The Dark Knight from 2008, directed by Christopher Nolan. I bet some of you thought it'd probably be rated higher, but I remember this one fondly too. This was a great movie, man. So this is just one of those mostly perfect comic book films to me. Just everything kind of works.
Opening sequence, like that opening.
Oh yeah, I remember going out all the way to I went all the way to the city just to watch I Am Legend, to watch that sneak peek of this one, and I was like, this is great. And then Heath Ledger dying right before. That was a huge news. That was like, not too common.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's common now for actors and actresses to die for a movie,
now.
But yeah, they're all dying every day. But great movie. I think Christian Bale's kind of overshadowed by Heath Ledger's performance, obviously, in this one to me. Yeah. But like a perfect Joker, perfect villain. Just a great comic book film. Which leads me to my number 2 pick, which I actually like a bit better, I guess, apparently because I rated it. My number 2 pick is Watchmen from 2009, directed by Zack Snyder.
Solid.
I think this is a really good comic book adaptation. I think it helps that I was able to go to the WonderCon where they premiered like the trailer, and it was part of like a Q&A with Zack Snyder, and a bunch of the actors and actresses were there too. So maybe that that probably plays in a little bit more for me. And it was coming fresh off of the Dark Knight success, so it was like, oh, this is the next big thing. And even though there's a lot of people that like hate on this, I'm a big fan of the comic book itself too. So I've read it plenty of times, and the ultimate cut is the way to go if you're really going to go with it, if you're a really big fan. But as a casual viewer, I think just the normal movie itself has a lot to like, man. So
agreed. Yeah, it's good.
And then I don't know if you guys can guess my number 1, but you're like,
I have a very strong feeling.
Paul Blart, my number
Mall Cop. Yeah,
Paul Blart Mall Cop. Bingo. That's my job. My number 1 film is Adventureland from 2009. Directed by Greg Mottola, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Martin Starr, and Ryan Reynolds. And this movie, this is probably one of the first, like, when I really realized I really like these coming-of-age films. It takes place in 1987. It's about a guy that is just kind of down on his luck and needs a summer job because he's been accepted to Columbia. And he goes to work at this it's basically a carnival, like a bunch of carnies, called Adventureland, where he has like a lot of growing up to do, and he meets a girl, Kristen Stewart's in it, but then he has all these other people he meets. It's like I don't know, it works so well for me, this movie. Like the setting of it all, a lot of nighttime scenes, which is cool. I love movies that take place at night. I think the acting is really great. It's not like this is like a fairy tale. Like, no, there's some pretty dark stuff in this movie about realizing people aren't quite who you think they are, good and bad, and not not always judging somebody. Or it's kind of like learning that life is quite bigger than you might think as well, without spoiling it for people. But great movie. I saw this early actually with someone we worked with back at Sears, and I remember seeing this like way months in advance. I even told Mark all about it too. So it was like, I was like, man, you got to see this movie back in 2009, by the way.
We technically saw this movie together.
Oh yeah, James. That's the second time I saw it actually, Marco.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember because I was like, is that Marco down there? Who's he with? Why are they leaving? Oh, trust me, Marco, I remember. I saw a cut of the movie
I saw it a second
first.
time too.
Yeah, I saw a cut of the movie first that still had like the boom mic still showing and stuff. It was like a rough cut of the movie. So my first time I saw it. So, and back then I had like this notion that I was in love with somebody, and it was just like a lot of it relates, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And it's one of those things where the main character's name is James, for God's sakes. So,
well, that's what I was going to ask you, actually, James, because I figured this was going to be your number 1 pick, because we've talked about it a few times. You really have. It's been an influential pick for you, but
yeah,
what is it that has really like resonated for you? Even like going through this list now and still saying that it's your number 1 pick. Is there something specific that it's just that time?
It reminds me of like a time, man, like 2009. Yeah. It reminds me of 2009, just heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like the first time, like I said, it's one of those things where I could relate to a lot what's going on, where it's like, fuck, I don't know. I don't want to get too personal, but it's like when you think you found the one, you know what I mean? You think you found the one, but then like there's all this other shit going on. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah,
that you don't know about. Like, there's other people have other lives, and like a lot of times I think it's one of those movies where the main character realizes like, hey, there's more to life than just like me going to school and like getting a good degree and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's all about the people you're around too. I can relate to it because we worked at a shitty place, right? In 2009, we all four of us did. Wow. But the things that there's a tagline in this movie, it's like a terrible place, but great people and great times. Like, I had some of the best times of my life during this year, like legit, like canon events, I guess, if you want to go Marvel, I guess. But there were great times, and I remember like late nights. There's parts of this where they're going out until like 4:00 in the morning. And I'm like, fuck, I remember doing that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like getting home when the fucking sun's coming up, and you're like, oh shit, you know?
Gotta get
and
work.
just drinking with your friends, getting fucked up. I know it sounds stupid now because we're grown men, but looking back, it's those times because I mean that's early college for me too. You know, I was like trying out new things. I'll say that like I tried out new things. I found out more and more. At the same time, I was growing up still. I was still only like 19 years, maybe 20. Maybe I was 20.
You were still figuring yourself
19 or
out
20.
and finding your way through the world, and that film is something that I think does kind of.
And this movie reminds me a lot of that, and it captures that so well because he's in such a shitty place, but he is surrounded by a very unique cast of people that really kind of make that time a memorable time for him. Even he realizes it, like at the end of the summer, and it's just I think it's great. If you've never seen it, it is fantastic. I've been saying this since it came out, so but yeah, that's my number one pick.
Awesome. Well, I think you've got some really fun picks there.
Thank you.
Let's go to Mikey. What's your top 5 and 2 honorable mentions?
All right, so starting off with my honorable mentions, my first one is 2005's Sin City. This is Frank Miller with Jessica Alba, Benicio del Toro, and a bunch of other people. There's a ton of people in this one. I just like the visuals of the movie. It's kind of like the same as maybe James. It's kind of similar from in my head, at least, for as a Watchmen. It's got a different feel to it a little bit, but it's got like that kind of style, that kind of look that you're looking for, and it kind of just draws you in, and it's just really cool.
It feels like the comic book, right? Like it does actually pull it off well.
That was like the start of like comic book movies, like during a run where it was like more kid friendly. That was like a really adult one, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And it did have a string of movies that kind of followed it, but they weren't as good as I don't think, at least.
No, I mean I remember Mickey Rourke. This was kind of his comeback movie.
Yeah.
Like people
Before
started
the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Moving on to honorable mention number 2, it's 2009's Avatar. And I put it as an honorable mention here because it's a fantastic movie. I still want to watch it all the time. However, it's just not the same as if you don't see it in the theater. Like, it's a really cool theater experience. One of the best I've ever seen as far as like the 3D and like just how it looks. You can watch these movies and you don't even realize you're watching CG, right? You see the half human, half CG, and it's like they're seamlessly together, like standing right next to each other. And I don't think any other movie has really kind of looked that seamless, anything else. But it's just not as good as watching it at home as you would in a theater. So I kind of put it as an honorable mention instead.
That's a great pick, though. I remember seeing the 3D in this one, Mikey, for the first time, and I was like, this is amazing.
It was a beautiful film, especially back then. Yeah.
And trust
it's like
me,
the first time like you reach out and try to grab something, right?
Right.
The little dot, the little dot in the beginning, floating in the air. I remember that too.
Before the world got oversaturated.
Mikey always did it with the Na'vi alien, so it's like Mikey chill.
Oh gosh.
I think that's the movie also that started the 3D boom on top of that for a good
and then, but
3
but it was
years.
all the up conversion, so they weren't actually done in 3D in the same way,
Yeah.
and so they were just all crap.
There were a few I remember that they did, but it's just never. It's like, damn, James Cameron just knows how to do it.
Yeah,
that was
most
like
of
a
the
really
3D stuff was gimmicky too. Like they would throw an axe at your face or something like that, right? So it's like this one was the first one. Was like all encompassing.
Yeah, it's just part of the thing. It's just even seeing like this computer screens where they're popping out, and you're like, oh my god, that's cool.
So on to my top 5 here. Number 5 is 2008's Iron Man, directed by Jon Favreau, Robert Downey Jr., and Jeff Bridges. And in my opinion, this is like the first one. Like you didn't know at the time you were watching this, but this like started off the whole MCU. And, just looking back, this is like the starting point of all that stuff. And it just kind of keeps it in my head. And also Robert Downey Jr. is kind of badass in this one. He's like the first superhero where like he doesn't really like have like this selfless act all the time. Although he is kind of sacrificing some stuff here, but he's still arrogant. He's still kind of like playing the same, rich person that he normally is in the movie. So it's like, it's just a different blend of that like superhero genre or the superhero movie. And I kind of like how it kind of marks the beginning of something that was pretty big. And I can say I've seen them all, right? We watched them all as they came out. So just kind of the start of a nice little run.
I remember when this film came out, I was like, this is the best superhero film I've ever seen in my life. And then Dark Knight came out like a month later, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best film I've ever seen." In my life.
Then I was like, "Oh, never mind." Yeah, I didn't see it right when it came. I didn't see Iron Man right when it came out too. I watched it a couple weeks after it came out. Yeah, solid film though, man.
It was, it was a great film.
Number 4 is 2005's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is Mike Newell, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and all the other people from all the other Harry Potter movies. I chose this one here because it's kind of the transition movie between the earlier ones where they're like kids, and the later ones that are pretty dark. And so this one kind of still has a little blend of those two things. It starts getting a little darker, start getting a little bit more mature, and have those little better themes in them. So it kind of marks it, and it's just overall it's just a really good movie. Just I like this one. It's one of my favorites.
Once again, Mikey, almost on my list. This is my favorite book, by the way. And movie wise, this almost made it because I love that Triwizard Tournament and the whole like other countries coming in for the other schools and stuff like that, and even the dance sequence.
Yeah.
I really like that scene a lot. So
yeah, it's the only movie really where you get like to see a little bit of the outside world other than Hogwarts. So it's kind of nice. Number 3 is 2005's Star Wars Episode 3, and I kind of echo what James kind of put in there as well. Like you got to kind of put in there. I think that this has some of the best Star Wars battles that you will ever see, or that have been available for us to see, I guess. But it has like space battles in the beginning. It's got the duel of between at the end there. It's got the Yoda and Palpatine fight. I mean, just the battles are stunning in this one, and it's a memorable. And even though it's not like chronologically the last one, it kind of does put a lot of like it puts a bow tie on the end of the package of what we've seen as far as Star Wars in the George Lucas era, I guess. Number 2 on my list is 2006. Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Talking to Nabil before we started this pod here, and this is one of 2 films that I've seen over 100 times. I've heard you probably heard me say Jurassic Park a million times here, but I've seen that movie a ton. This is the second movie I've seen a ton. I used to watch this like twice a week, every week for like a couple years straight. I don't know why. I just always loved this movie, and every time someone came on, and I just put it on in background so people would watch it with me. I just love this one. It just kind of clicked with me, and it's my favorite Will Ferrell movie. It's over the top crazy with him and Sacha Baron Cohen and John C. Reilly. You can't go wrong. It's a great movie.
Shake and bake, baby.
Shake and bake. And my top film for this era is 2008's The Dark Knight. We've already kind of talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But Christopher Nolan made a crime thriller movie and then tossed Batman inside of it. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It feels like it just took this thing and just escalated it above what a superhero movie could be. To this day, I still think it's the best superhero movie that's ever been made. It's fantastic. The villains, both of them, actually, I watched it for the pod here, and it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize before how Harvey Dent's like his transition to Two-Face even happens, like it starts happening before he even gets like the accident. So it's kind of crazy like how everything is like a gradual turn to everything. It's just really crafted well. Both bad guys and Batman and Gordon and all them, just really well put together characters and a well put together story.
You've got some solid picks here, Mikey. I love what you got going on there. Let's jump to you, Marco, for the first time. Tell us what your
Back from the
top
dead.
picks are. I know, yeah, feeling better and everything. What were your top picks for this era?
My honorable mentions for my top list, starting with 2006's The Prestige. That movie, man, I think it's very, I wouldn't say underrated, but it's so under the radar still, no matter like how good it is. But I'd say it's one of Nolan's like best movies. And it's about like 2 warring magicians played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, and they play off each other so freaking well. Their rivalry, and then like going through like their memories of how they used to be like good friends and everything, and how one bad accident just changes that, and they each try to best each other. I think the story itself is told very well. It's filmed very well. I'm not really that into like, magic or anything like that, but I mean the movie really gets you intrigued as far as like how these magicians make their tricks and how they create their illusions. And I think it was done very well, but I decided that just didn't quite make the final list.
Sure. No, it's a good Nolan film.
Going on to my next honorable mention, it is 2008's The Wrestler, starring Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
I believe James had me watch this movie. I think it was for a pod episode. But I remember I'd been wanting to watch this movie for a long time. And it just really hit me hard because of the premise of this aged out wrestler that's still trying to make something of himself, make a name of himself. And, he goes through these phases where, he's unsure, and he even gets like daytime jobs and stuff. And like, I I can totally relate to that, to like wanting to do something artistic and trying your best, and just failing at every turn or just being,
I thought you were going to say you could relate to being a down your luck wrestler and that.
You're like, he's like, I was doing a ton of coke in the bathroom at a party, and then I decided, let me call my daughter and cuss her out.
Yeah. But it's just one of those, like, you're down in the ruts, like trying to do something, like, we do our podcast for fun and everything like that, and we don't always pat ourselves on the back, but fuck it, I think we do a pretty decent job and stuff, and it's just like it was very relatable. We all do other things too that we do for hobbies that we're like, oh, if it ever took off, that'd be great, but we're past that. So it just was very relatable. That's why I put it on here. But unfortunately, it's just an honorable mention because it's too damn fucking depressing. On to my main list, starting with number 5 is 2005's Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And I can't really say anything that these guys haven't already said about it, but the movie's a tragedy in itself. That's what it is. It's a tragedy, and you see it. It's the fall of a hero, and it's aged very well. I know at the time it got a lot of crap talked about and everything, but the story is very relevant to today. Lucas was very ahead of his time, even down to like the politics of it and everything. Like, I remember back in the day, like thinking, there's no way this guy's freaking, where did he get this? And then, it's just like, oh, Lucas actually, could see the future. But, just everything that these guys said, the battles and everything, like, can we get a lightsaber fight like that again?
Last Jedi had a good fight. I just want to throw that out there. I know you guys all hate Last Jedi, but there was a good lightsaber fight in there.
Nabil, I watched this movie recently
apparently,
with my son, and I believe his comment was, so that's what a real lightsaber fight looks like.
I mean, no, it's an excellent fight.
His mind was blown.
Jedi,
like,
whenever, when I feel like I could be faster than the person, I'm like, that ain't good.
Yeah,
I'm not fast.
I'm not fast.
But still, like that, the scene where Anakin says goodbye to Obi-Wan for the last time as Anakin Skywalker, I think like still hits pretty hard. Him saying goodbye to his brother and everything. So yeah, it's number 5. So on to number 4 is 2006 Children of Men. That movie, man, I remember when I first saw it, I was just kind of blown away as far as like its plot and its themes, and it's basically like end of the world, people aren't having children are dying, and this one loner played by Clive Owen, divorced, is on a mission to help someone who's pregnant for the first time in years get to safety. And the way the whole movie unravels, where this guy is just he's just living just for the sake of living. He sees shit going around him, and then finally he's put in a position where he can actually like do something, and it's not something that big. It's just helping somebody, get to somewhere, and it unravels all these series of events, and it ends up being like one of the best things he could ever do for humanity. It's very hopeful, even though it's kind of very, all this dread and depression throughout the story. But the fact that it pretty much leaves you with a hopeful moment towards the end, I think makes the movie that much worth it. There's one scene really that still sticks out, even if you see it today. Like, something happens and this battle breaks out, and all of a sudden everybody just stops and the movie's just completely quiet. And I remember how impactful that scene was at the time, and that's why this made it to my top 5 list.
There's some great technical shots in there too. A lot of good one shots, which are typically done. Yeah.
Number 3 is 2007's No Country for Old Men. It is probably my favorite Coen Brothers movie, if I really think about it. But I remember this opening with the killer Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem, and just his complete menacing face as he takes a dude out. Just right there, it pretty much tells you like where this movie's going. It being like kind of like a neo Western as well. I think had a lot to do with it too. And the whole stress of it, of trying to be like one step ahead of Chigurh every time, and just how tactful this guy is throughout the entire movie, I think makes it such a riveting story to watch. And I remember, I don't think I saw this in theaters, but I did see it when it was like released on DVD, and I would just watch this movie like over and over again, just impressed by the story and the direction that the Coen brothers took it. Because it's not really like a happy ending, but it's just like a series of events that unfold in this situation. And I think that, you know, it deserves to be on the top 5 list.
Also, using a hydraulic, what is that, the cattle chute or whatever, is terrifying, apparently. So,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
seeing that, I was like, oh my gosh. Didn't think that.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah. On to my number 2 film, which is 2009's Inglourious Bastards. Had to put a Tarantino movie in here because I'm a Tarantino fan. This movie, I recently saw it actually twice this summer, just out of nowhere. I was like, oh, Inglourious Bastards, haven't seen this in a while. And it just really stuck to me, man. The whole like menacing factor of Christoph Waltz, I think is one of the big things. I think this is probably like his best role. He just plays it so well. And the way, of course, Tarantino divides the story, you know, the classic Tarantino way, and the way it all culminates at the end, all these 3 separate stories just culminate in the end, I think is just done so well that it at the end, it just leaves you like very, very satisfied. Really great performances by Melanie Laurent, Brad Pitt as well. I think, you know, they do great with these roles, especially Brad Pitt. He's just like a straight shot, no bullshit, no nonsense type of guy. And one of my favorite scenes is when when he's supposed to be in disguise, and they're trying to do these shitty Italian accents, and they just can't do it. And you can tell that the freaking Nazis just aren't buying it, but they just continue to go with this act, and I think it's hilarious.
Right.
But yeah, made it to my number 2. Finally, on to my number 1, of course. You all know 2008's The Dark Knight. The movie is the penultimate superhero movie, in my opinion. I mean, surprise, surprise. But more than that, what Mikey said, it's really just a crime drama with these characters, these comic book characters placed into it, and really reading up on it and how Goyer and Nolan decided to write the stories. They focused more on that, and then focused on the comic book aspect secondary. And its influence in both comic book movies and also in film in general, it started or at least it helped spark the whole IMAX hype because of that, you know, the scenes that were filmed in IMAX. Yeah. And now we see that more and more, like this film is filmed in IMAX, or this has been, you know, rendered for IMAX. And I can't really seem to remember that before, like the Mission Impossible movies or The Dark Knight, you know, really facilitating that and really pushing for that. But I remember it being one of the main films that helped, you know, push that. And even like now, like sometimes, you know, at least for me, like some movies or some series are compared to the movie. It's like, oh, this is that series, Dark Knight. Like, you know, Captain America, Winter Soldier. That's Marvel's like Dark Knight. Very grounded, very like surrounded in realism. And I think this movie kind of helped with that.
I mean, we've talked about it now, a couple of people, but as a film itself, I think that it does stand out and stands the test of time. Just not even as a comic book film, but it's just an excellent film. And we still haven't gotten a better Joker since Heath Ledger.
We won't get a better Joker.
No, yeah,
it's almost impossible.
Rewatch it before for the pod. Just that interrogation scene alone, dude, it's so good and filmed so well.
All right, great picks, Marco. So we're going to go to my top 5 and 2 honorable mentions. I will say it was hard for me to go through this list because I had a lot of films that were just going on and off the list. And to be honest, even the order that I have probably could mix it up. But I went off of what I felt I was watching all the time or could continue to revisit, kind of like what everybody else is doing as far as their favorites. So start with my first honorable mention. It is the 2005 film Good Night and Good Luck. And so this film was directed by George Clooney and stars David Strathairn and George Clooney. It's just one of the, I mean, James knows how much I like these kind of talking slow movies.
This movie.
This is up my alley 100%. So
Marco already fell asleep just hearing it now. Just so you know, But like, I knew you would like
I'm
this
sick
because it
again.
wasn't it
Yeah.
George Clooney's first. Yeah,
It
Marco
was
said
his
he's
big directing
Marco
film.
said he's gonna log off for a bit. He's not feeling well
He's
now.
gonna be
So
back. I'm out, guys.
this is probably
Yeah.
your most Nabil pick so far in the last 2 episodes.
Oh yeah.
But
this
you
is
know what?
definitely
We're
a
not
film that
done
I
yet.
enjoy.
I guess we're not done yet. My bad.
We got a
Keep
lot
going.
more to go through. There's going to be a few of them, I think, on this segment. But yeah, good night and good luck. Excellent film. If you haven't watched it, very great political story too about freedom of speech. So very relevant to today too, as well. If you haven't seen it, Marco specifically, I think it's a film that you might enjoy. My other honorable mention is No Country for Old Men, the Ethan and Joel Coen film, Tommy Lee Jones, 2007. We know the film. We talked about the film. Great movie. Javier Bardem is awesome in it. I also really like Woody Harrelson in this film. I know we don't talk, he's not like the biggest character, but just him here with a cowboy hat, it was kind of fun seeing him, as well as, of course,
Yeah.
Josh Brolin. Okay, going to my top 5. My number 5 pick is 2005's Kingdom of Heaven, directed by Ridley Scott and, of course, starring Orlando Bloom. It's just, I really liked the Crusade era, and Ridley Scott, I think, did a good job putting that all together. It just has always been a film that I've kind of resonated with for some reason, from a historical perspective. Could be also because of the whole religious thing. I really like watching those kind of films, so it's just something that is up my alley again.
That's a solid pick. I feel like a lot of people forget about that movie. The unrated cut is far superior.
That's the best one. Yeah,
By the way.
unrated cut is the version
So-
to watch.
That recently came out in 4K. It's really hard to find though, but if you can find it, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it really shot well. I mean, we got Liam Neeson in the first part of the film. There's a lot of interesting or different character actors in the movie, but it's just a good story from start to finish, I think, just with Orlando Bloom's character too, and kind of being in the middle of this war. My number 4 film is also a Will Ferrell film that, like Mikey did, so I've got one as well, but it's not the same. It's 2008's Step Brothers, directed by Adam McKay, and it's with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I watch this film all the time. It is hilarious. I think I quoted, like you guys are talking about quoting Star Wars. I quote this film all the time, just randomly, because it's freaking hilarious. Yeah, it's just a great film. And again, it's John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, just like in Talladega Nights. They're awesome in this film. If not, they spend even more time obviously together, so you get to just see them go back and forth. So definitely,
They play well off
great
each other.
My number 3 pick is 2008's Mamma Mia, directed by Felina Lloyd and starring Meryl Streep and Amanda Seyfried. Again, a Nabil film. I freaking love ABBA. I love everything
I do too,
about
actually.
ABBA.
I love ABBA too, but
They're just, I mean,
number
I don't know
3
if
film
anybody-
though. That's
I
cool.
watched this film.
No, it's good. I mean, that's cool.
I've seen this film many times. I just, like I said, it was a hard list to go through because I was thinking about films that I watch over and over again from this era. And Mamma Mia is
yeah,
one
you
I see, I
actually-
think, every
you-
year.
You own that movie too, I think. You sent me a photo
I
of your
do.
movies once. I think you own Mamma Mia.
I do own Mamma Mia.
He quotes this one a lot too.
But yeah, it's just a film that I continue to rewatch, and it does kind of highlight my appreciation for ABBA because it's all their songs. Plus, watching Pierce Brosnan try to sing is hilarious. My number 2 pick is 2008's The Dark Knight, directed by Chris Nolan and starring Christian Bale. Great film. We've talked about it. I don't want to add anything more except for saying that I just love that opening scene. It's just fun every time.
And like Marco
I think
said, that was the
didn't-
start of like the IMAX craze, dude.
Yeah, I think that was a scene that was completely shot in IMAX. So my number 1 pick is 2006's Casino Royale, directed by Martin Campbell, starring Daniel Craig. Of course, this is his, like James said, this is Craig's first iteration of Bond. Honestly, what I loved about this film is that it was so different from. It's what I wanted the Pierce Brosnan era to go in, like coming off of GoldenEye, and then everything that came afterwards was not the same. And like the Craig era, I feel like at least this film, it does kind of have its up and downs, but this specific film really kind of ties into like a lot of action at the beginning, but then you get into this kind of like dramatic poker night, and there's a lot of things that happen between, but really they're just playing poker for a good portion of the film, the second half of the film at least, and it's still so enthralling. Like you don't know what's going to happen. You want to see, the mystery behind Matt Mikkelsen's character, Le Chiffre, and what his whole goal is. Like there's a lot of good. It's basically for me encompasses everything that a spy film should be, a Bond film should be, really. And it makes is one of my favorite Bond films, if not probably my second favorite. next to Skyfall. So it's an excellent movie overall, and I just always want to go back and rewatch it, especially the kind of love story too, because you kind of see where Bond goes from becoming a 007 and then going into, being kind of cold-hearted the way he is. And I don't know why, it was always something that I would rewatch and pick up all the time, and then like longed for the next one until the next one came, and then I was like, why are we watching this?
Quantum of Solace, you're like,
Quantum of Solace is so bad. I was like, why did I wait so long for this film? But yeah, so still enjoy watching this film.
I can only hope the hype for the next Bond is just as much as that first Casino Royale was, because there was a lot of hype leaning into it. A lot of people didn't remember. They're like, he's blonde. They can't have a blonde James Bond.
I never thought that was a big deal, but people were just like, he's blonde. He's got blue eyes. Well, this was our 2005 to 2009 era. We're going to, of course, go into continue with this segment going into our next pod with 2010 to 2014. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to jump into our main review of Predator Badlands.
So this is your first hunt. And you've come to the most dangerous planet in the universe.
Predator Badlands, currently sitting at 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the summary is set on a remote planet where a young predator, outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally in Thea and embarks on a treacherous journey in search of an ultimate adversary. This one is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who also did 10 Cloverfield Lane in 2016, Prey in 2022, Predator Killer of Killers in 2025, and it was written by Patrick Eisen, who did Prey in 2022. This released in theaters on November 7th, 2025, and had a budget of $105 million. This one stars Elle Fanning as Thea and Tessa, Demetrius Suster Kaloa Montangi as Dek, Mike Halmick as Quay, and Rohinal Nayaran as Bud. So let's first start off by just going around and quick impressions on how you guys feel about the movie and maybe what you were expecting when you went in. Let's start with Marco.
I think my expectations were kind of, I wouldn't say leveled up, but it wasn't really what I expected it in a good way. I think the trailers did a good job at not really giving away too much. Then again, I think I only saw like the initial trailer and then I didn't see anything else. But from what I did see, there's really a lot it didn't give away. And because of that, I think it really didn't meet my expectations, but in a good way. It exceeded them to a point. And I think overall, I did enjoy the movie, man. I had fun. I went to go see it with my son, and we have seen all the Predator movies. Well, not all of them, but the ones that matter leading up to this one. And we even saw Killer of Killers prior to, and I think it really helped with the experience.
Yeah, for sure. Nabil, how'd you feel? And what were your expectations?
Well, I did listen to our pod on The Predator. I wasn't on that one because I hadn't seen the film and I didn't know if I wanted to. And I listened to it and I said, I still don't want to see this film. So
no, you don't.
I wasn't. Yeah, no. I wasn't sure how much I'd like this one.
Me and Marco left during the live Q&A when we were like, we're good. Yeah, we good. There's like a live Q&A. I think me and him were the only ones that got up. I was like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here if you are. We saw an early screening of that. That's why.
We did.
Yeah, I was like, I'm ready to dip.
Excited.
Because at the end of it, I was like, that wasn't good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I mean that was what your guys' sentiment were on the podcast. So I was like, man, if this is just going to be a rehash of something stupid. But watching the film, I was pleasantly surprised. This is better than I definitely thought it was going to be. Probably better than it deserved to be honest. But yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was a good time.
Nice. James, how'd you feel?
My expectations pretty low. I thought Prey was trash. I liked Predator Killer of Killers. I liked that one. So coming in, I thought the trailers were terrible for this movie too. And honestly, I mean, you know how it is. We went together, Mikey. I loved it. So I had a lot of fun. I thought it was awesome. It worked just as well as a Disney produced Predator film could do.
Okay. I just found out that I'm the only person that liked Prey in this podcast. So.
No, Mikey, I liked it too.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one here, but that's good. Right. So I liked Prey.
You can look back. We reviewed it. So
yeah.
I'll have to go listen to the pod. I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't remember that. But I feel like Marco. I only watched the first trailer. I didn't see the second one. I just saw the second one this morning, actually, and I'm glad I didn't see it before I saw this movie. Didn't expect much from this movie, actually. The trailers kind of push it in one way, and like Marco said, it kind of gave me an expectation that maybe there wasn't going to be that much content in this movie, but there was actually a lot more, and I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was actually pretty good, even for being at Disney. I don't think it could have been better not being in Disney. Like, it didn't really have anything that needed to be R, because of like who's in the movie. There's not really humans in the movie, right? So there's no blood, really. They really could do whatever they wanted and not have to worry about, blood being a problem or those kind of things. So I think they got away with the one being PG-13, and it worked out for what they needed to do. So I actually liked it a lot. So let's start off by talking about the plot. What you guys think about it here? So we'll start with Nabil here. What was your thought on the plot, and what worked and what didn't work for you?
It was an interesting take because this time we're just following the predator. Usually, obviously, he is the predator, and so we're with the humans kind of watching out for them getting hunted. So this was a different take on that, where we're following through his journey, and I enjoyed it. I thought that this was, especially considering like what they did with Deck being what is he, the runt of the family. So he's like he has a chip on his shoulder, really trying to prove himself, trying to get the biggest game and really going out there. And so it could have definitely been a play by numbers situation where he's just going through this magical forest or whatever, this weird planet, and then things are attacking, like, which is what happens. But it is such a unique, because it's supposed to be an alien world, they really kind of lean onto the uniqueness of some of the things which could be just weird anywhere else, that it actually plays in well with this universe, and you can feel like it's an actual challenge for him, and why the stakes were kind of so big for Quay to kind of, or Deck to kind of go into this, because nobody else really wanted to go after this game that he was trying to hunt. So I like the plot, I like the journey of it. I was kind of concerned that Elle Fanning was gonna be terrible. And this film was like, she's just gonna be the mouthpiece that talks or something like that, and she was. But I actually liked her in this film. I enjoyed seeing her, and she had enough banter. She was funny enough, and it worked for what they were trying to do with it. So I actually enjoyed her character as well. So I think the plot was pretty solid for what they were going for with the characters.
Yeah, and I mean, it's almost like a Yocha, which is the Predators' like race, I guess, or clan.
Yeah,
it's almost like a coming of age, almost, right? So,
kind of, yeah.
Saying that, James, how'd you feel about the movie and the plot?
I was good. I thought it was good. I like that you get a lot of emotion out of that character too. I know there's a lot of, I see a lot of criticism that's really CG heavy, but it's fine. At least it looked pretty good. At times there's a couple rough parts, you could tell, but overall I thought it looked really good, and I liked that there's like a meaning behind why he's doing it all. Because without spoiling it too much, there's like he's got a disapproving father, and his brother's the only one that really looked out for him. And it was nice to kind of see that kind of dynamic. The character of Thea can relate to him, and they kind of are somewhat similar in ways. Not super similar, but it was nice. Their interactions, I think, really helped out for the film too. As soon as like she shows up, I really think the plot kind of starts going. If anything, I think the only thing that really didn't work plot wise is like pretty weak main villain overall.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I thought was kind of just added with it. Honestly, the villain could have just been like the planet, right? But they decided to have someone that was technically the main antagonist, which I was like, oh, I guess. But
they gotta have a battle.
It's weird because like it kind of swaps, right? It kind of swaps from being, the creature that he's hunting to something else, like partway through the movie, and so it kind of doesn't really kind of give
like
a lot of either one of them to cook, right?
Yeah, it doesn't give it. That was my one issue with it. So I was like, it would have been cool if we had a more menacing antagonist, because I didn't really find her menacing at all. So for like
Marco,
such a, because like I'm just saying, like the Predator is such a badass dude. Like he clearly knows how to handle himself, but you get to that and you're like, okay, I guess.
But at the same time, he was kind of nerfed because of the fact that he's like an adolescent that hasn't even earned his I guess quote unquote stripes yet. I don't want to give away what it is he hasn't earned yet, but
yeah,
I think that helps. But you know what this movie reminded me of? I hate to do this, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. It reminded me a lot of 28 Years Later, an adolescent that defies his father, that goes out into Badlands as a coming age, and he has an alien partner with him, and he's supposed to survive and learn to hunt and be on his own. Anyway, not in a bad way, but that's kind of what it kind of reminded me of in a sort of way. And I think that worked for me too. Like, Mike, I think you're the one that mentioned the coming of ageness of this. And I think it was a smart way to go about it, because how many different ways can you tell a predator story where he's, out and hunting humans and stuff? This kind of changes it up for us and actually puts the predator as the main character. And I think that part of the story and him trying to survive this and become his own is what really helped propel the story and make it a good movie for me.
Yeah, no, I like
Anyway,
what they did. Yeah, I like what they did with the plot here. I mean, it's really basic. To me, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it really felt like a video game. Because like he like learns off the land, like he goes through this whole adventure, going through this planet that's trying to kill him, and he eventually
XP.
takes those things, right, and he like makes armor out of them and stuff like that, right? It's just like basically he's gaining XP, he's gaining stuff from the world, and he's like moving on to the next thing, right? And it's
He's
like
unlocking new
I don't know, I got a
moves.
video game vibe from it, and it kind of worked for me. The plot, as we kind of said, it kind of makes a little twist here, and I'm obviously we'll get into a little bit more when the spoiler section or maybe characters or something, but it kind of is that weakest point is where it kind of doesn't have a really strong villain, like James said. I kind of feel like the same way, but overall, I like what they did. They didn't have to do much. It's a Predator movie where he's trying to kill stuff, and he does kill stuff, right? So, I mean, yeah, I was pretty satisfied. So we talked about some of the emotions that this Predator has, which is kind of a little bit out of the norm of the Predator and the Yautja in general. So let's talk about Deck. And I'll kind of leave this open to anybody here. Does anybody have something to say? We talked a little bit about the characters already, so I'll just kind of leave it open to everybody. What did you guys think about Deck?
I like that he grew in a way that I felt like was organic. It wasn't, because it could have just simply been a character. Like, I don't want to go into to say anything too specific, but you do see him growing as a character in here, of like embracing some of those feelings that he really wasn't in his way as a predator, though, as a Yautja. Like, it wasn't where you're just like, oh, he's just buying into these feelings, and you just have to kind of go with it. Like, there seems to be, in his own way, kind of buying into what was going on. So I think that was again, I'm trying not to spoil anything specific, but I just like the way that they threaded that, where he was still true to what we would expect his character to be, while also acknowledging some emotion and growth in that throughout the film. And that I think was actually really effective. Like, I felt a bit more connected to him because of that.
I think it's because he wanted to belong always, because he really wasn't part of like a clan per se,
Yeah.
right? And so he found his family in a way,
He did.
right? You know,
And we had enough of his backstory to want to care as well too, which I think the movie really pulled off, and just showing the beginnings of the interactions between his father and his brother, and getting that dialogue between all three of them, I think really helped establish him as a character. And you would have told me in 2025 I would have cared about a CGI Yautja, I would have looked at you like you're crazy, but yet, here we are.
Well, kind of going back to what Nabil said, he is emotional, and he's taking those emotions in a certain way. But I like how his emotions are just different than the human ones, right? So like he is going through the same emotions that the humans would, but he does it in his own way, like Nabil said here. And I thought that was really interesting, because they could have just kind of made that completely terrible, and it would have ruined the movie, I think. But having the Predator be its own way, because you can't really, I mean, none of the other Predators have showed emotion at all. So the fact that they showed this one have some, but it's still different enough to make you feel like it could actually be part of like how they normally are, was kind of nice.
And that, Mikey, I like that the irony was that him showing these emotions and processing them, even in his own like Yautja way, is what was considered a weakness in his culture, and what made him partly an outcast.
Well, we talked a little bit about the beforehand, and we mentioned that she's kind of like the chat, the sidekick kind of person, but she does kind of serve a little bit more to kind of the emotions. It helps like kind of craft him a little bit. So do you have any thoughts? Does anybody have any thoughts about her? Gonna go in a little deeper in her interactions with Deck?
I think she helps develop him along the way. Like, she really, challenges him whenever he answers in his own culture, says, that's considered weak, or I'm the hunter, I hunt, I'm not the prey. And she kind of inverts his own like belief structure, and kind of makes it see it from a different point of view, but in a way that it's looked at as a strength and not as a weakness. And she gives various analogies too. Like I don't want to spoil too much, but she gives an animal analogy that really kind of is alluded to for a later scene, and I think that kind of added
I like that
more
part
to,
too.
Yeah, it added more to his development. And in addition, she's also there. I think she really helps with people who probably have never seen a Predator movie, which I think is wild, but hey, whatever. She really helps kind of like explain like, oh yeah, you guys do this, you guys believe in this, you guys believe in that, and kind of helps bring like a larger audience into this world, so that way like you don't really have to do the homework and see the previous films, because she kind of fills you in. And I think she did.
I feel like you can watch this pretty standalone, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be a little confused, but I feel like you'd pick up on what their point is, right?
The same, I do agree with you, but in the same way, it also has a lot of ties to the other movies that you don't have to know, but I think makes the movies a little better. I always like the shared world kind of stuff where it doesn't really make a difference, but it makes a difference, I don't know if that makes sense.
It's balanced for both types of audiences. Yeah. The ones who are the hardcore fans, and those who are just kind of the casual fan.
I was gonna say that she's also the comic relief here. She does a lot of the silly things in the film, and she's got some of the more funnier lines. I mean, she's the only one who's really speaking. She was pretty funny throughout the film. I think I chuckled a lot.
She is. All jokes aside, she is. Yeah. She's almost like a comedic relief, honestly, Nabil.
She really feels that way.
And like in Marco's point of view, or what he was saying, like. She gets the answers out of him because she's almost annoying about it with all her goddamn questions, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why. And honestly, he never actually gets too angry at her. I mean, he throws her at one point, which is kind of funny. But he basically answers all her questions.
Yeah.
So he's very open too. Look at that. He's different.
He learns from her too and starts to jab back, which I appreciated.
Yeah, he actually says a joke at one point.
Yeah, she actually says, "Is that a joke?" Well, he doesn't bump into too many other characters, so I'll just kind of group them all here. Does anybody have anything about, Tessa or Bud, which are also on the journey?
Bud looks the worst out of everyone, by the way. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
That was the one where I was like, that one felt a little off with the CG. Thought the character was adorable, though.
Toys.
Yeah, I thought the same. See, I'm not trying to be cynical, but I know they did it to sell toys. Especially 100%. I was like, oh, that's going to be a doll. You can buy that at Disneyland coming up in about a
little month. Stuffed plush or something.
Yeah, and they're like, look, it's Bud. And then someone's like, that's the Yautja's best friend. I mean, I don't really want to talk about the other one, probably until spoilers, probably.
Spoilers. Okay.
Technically.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
I will say that his brother, though, Quay, I believe.
Yeah, Quay, yeah.
No, yes. Pretty badass, man.
His dad was, too. I thought. Kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I really like the designs that they had.
Yeah,
it was very
they had really cool.
And something about that red, that in Tron Ares recently, I'm like, they just bringing neon red back heavy Disney right now, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're like, you guys like this, right? It's cool, right?
The comparisons of showing how skilled his brother and his dad was, to kind of see like what Deck was getting himself into when going to quote unquote the Badlands, and you're like, oh damn, this guy. How's he going to survive this type of thing,
And then he loses all his stuff. I'm like, this is just like Metroid. Now he doesn't, and now he has to go find all his stuff again, right?
Like a video game, yeah.
Video game.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you start out with nothing.
No, you start out with everything, but then an event happens. Like, now you don't have none of those power-ups, and now you're weak. You got to go find them again.
They gave you a taste so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, for the end game part.
They could totally make a video game out of this. Damn.
Well, we already talked a little bit about the special effects and that kind of stuff here. So let's move into like some of the direction stuff here. What about cinematography, music stuff? What do you guys feel about those kind of things?
I don't remember the music. So I'm trying to think.
It brings up some of the classic. I think it has some of the classic Predator music in there. A little bit, right?
There was a couple
of originals, but yeah.
I think there was a couple of callbacks at the end of it, but I'm trying to think of anything from the original that stood out, and it's like it was fine. It was there.
It worked for like the tension and stuff.
Yeah, some of the motifs from the first movie came out
a little bit, right, Marco? Yeah. I heard some of that. Yeah,
when he was exploring and discovering the new alien life on that planet, and you could kind of hear it in the background. They would tweak it a little bit, but you could hear it.
The fight scene in the very beginning, it had some really like high energy music that was like wild. I was just like, wow, this is.
It does. It does well like building tension, right? Like,
yeah,
like, I thought it worked. Cinematography, I
Yeah.
thought it was filmed. I don't think it was filmed like the prettiest, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest. But I thought it looked okay.
Oh, that's just to disguise the CGI.
Some of
That's
the
why.
CG was a bit rough. I noticed that right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Like the first scene, I was like, that looks a little blurry. I was
But
like,
it
"Am my eyes
did
deceiving
look
me?"
better than the trailer because that's what really worried me. I don't know if I saw it in IMAX. I don't know if you guys did, but
Yeah, we did.
I was like, oh, it does. Maybe it's the IMAX. I don't know. It looks better than it did in the trailer. Not too bad. Some of it, especially with Bud. Yeah, I agree there. That's really my main complaint.
Bud seemed like the most CG out of it. I was like, oh man, the eyes look really off.
Yeah, he was. I mean, adorable. That's why.
Once again, yes, no, but I'm not. I'm sorry. It's a girl, by the way. She was adorable.
Oh, girl, that's right.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
she.
she.
Sorry, she.
I will say the scene that I did think looked really nice was when he first lands on the planet in the Badlands, and then like that tree or alien thing is like attacking it. With like the tension there was pretty cool because you didn't know what was going on. He was trying to attack it. Like all that seemed very. I mean, kind of seemed almost Predator-esque from the other films. Just kind of you don't know what's coming at you, and he's trying to get everything all at once, and he kind of comes off as a badass for a little bit. So that I think was shot really well. But then, like you guys were saying, as we kind of go on too, like some of the set pieces weren't as great. Although I did really enjoy the grass that they went over. I thought that was a pretty neat idea. And how
Oh,
they kinda shot that.
like the knife
The
glass
needle
or
grass or
something.
knife
Yeah,
glass,
the
yeah.
knife grass. Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that sequence too.
The scene where there's a scene. I don't want to spoil it too much, but he does something with the sword too when he's fighting with one of the creatures, and it's pretty cool what he does. It's
Yeah.
one of the showcases of him being badass. Also,
Yeah, that sword is pretty dope.
yeah.
Because
I know that's supposed to be a
I don't
unique
know
thing
why,
for them
but
or
it's like cool
something.
because it folds.
Yeah,
It's that red neon,
that
man.
sword is pretty dope.
The red neon.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have some stuff that we kind of want to talk about in the spoiler section. So let's go ahead and rate the movie. And would you recommend it? And then we'll get into spoilers here. And we'll start with James.
Solid 4-star movie. I liked it a lot. Good action. It was cool. I liked the characters and I like where it was going.
Nabil, how about you?
I gave this 3.5 stars. I thought it was fine. It was good. It definitely is something that I think is a good pickup for somebody who's never seen the franchise before. But like James was saying earlier, probably should watch the original one too. But it's a good enough film to watch for anybody.
Marco?
Yeah, 4 stars also, man. I think it's a really good addition to the franchise and exploration of the Yautja culture. And yeah, I would recommend it.
Yeah, I gave this one 4 stars as well. So I mean, it might be just some of my expectations. I wasn't expecting much, so maybe because it went over what I expected, I gave it an extra star or two. But
I think when we both when we got out of the movie, we were like, oh, that's pretty good.
yeah, I liked it a lot.
Because I remember
So-
we both going into it, we're kind of like, I don't know how this is going to be.
Yeah, I was kind of iffy on it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out. Definitely recommend. All right, well, we're going to cut to spoilers. So if you don't want to hear it and you want to go watch it first and you want to come back, we're going to get into those and just kind of zoom a little bit forward to see our outro, see what we're doing next. All right, so there's a lot of topics here, actually. There's a lot of stuff you could spoil on this one, and so we were kind of holding it back, I guess, beforehand. But one of the things we're going to talk about here was Bud. We kind of mentioned a little bit about her, and we kind of, in the movie, kind of see her as like the sidekick, right? She's like the second sidekick, but she ends up being like a pretty pivotal role. She's the same species as what he's hunting, so it kind of works out that way, and there's kind of a bond there and a little bit in there, and during the twist there, it kind of helps her out. Kind of switches gears to be like, hey, I need to help this friend of mine out. So what are your guys' thoughts on Bud and the kind of the twist there and the relationship they had with Deck?
I was just saying I'm going to buy the plush toy and use it as a pillow. So that's going to be great. It's adorable.
The marketing worked on the bill.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like the fact that they pull a switcheroo and Bud and his mother were not the main antagonist, and I know that kind of weakens the antagonist, making Tessa the main bad guy, but I kind of liked it. It's very different, and I didn't even get the connection that Bud would end up being related to that creature. So I think that They did a good job at hiding it.
I gotta ask though, were you guys actually surprised it wasn't gonna be he's gonna have to kill the thing? I wasn't surprised at all, dude.
I wasn't surprised.
I saw that like a
read
mile
any subtitles
away.
that I wasn't surprised. So
Yeah. I was like, he's gonna realize and be like, oh, I don't have to do this. Either like I didn't realize the Bud connection was cool, don't get me wrong. But I didn't realize it was gonna be like because of Bud is the thing, it almost kind of humanizes it. Like, oh, like this thing helped me out, and so then that, but I knew it was going to be one of those things like I don't need to prove to my father that I need to kill this crazy creature because he's gonna, then he realizes that like that's your mom,
Yeah,
and
I knew he was going to have that dilemma too of whether or not to kill it or not. I was just curious, like how were they going to get to that, and what would be the reasoning? And I didn't see Bud because I was thinking of that. I didn't see Bud. I just kept ignoring Bud. I was like, yeah, it's just comic relief, whatever. But
yeah, you like googly eyed monkey looking green thing. Yeah.
He was cute. He didn't mimic him.
Yeah, I mean, she spits on him, becomes this like he's part of your clan now. As soon as they said that, I said, oh, I already know what's going on.
No, mine was when
kind of gives it away.
When Deck was sniffed by the mother, I was like, oh snap! I was like, they're the same species. Dang. Okay.
Oh yeah, that later in the thing, but as soon as the clan thing, I was like, oh, she's lost.
So going into some other stuff here, there were actually a decent amount of like crossover alien franchise kind of stuff here, and that kind of takes us into Tessa as well. We didn't speak a lot about her previously, and that's because she's kind of like the big bad in this, if there is one. So what do you guys think about the connections to the Alien franchise? And then on a second note, well, what do you think of Tessa and her being a Wayland synth?
I'll say something. I like that they're not like super heavy handed with it, where they're doing like the remember this from Aliens? Look at this, like they're pretty subtle. Like honestly, if you didn't know that was connected, you as like if it was like a first time viewer, they probably won't know that's connected to Alien. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Unless they were like, wait a minute, I just saw Alien Earth. That doesn't make no sense. Look at all these aliens.
I remember a while ago, and it was an interview with Dan Trachtenberg, him saying, like, if we ever were to do, like, a crossover or hint at it, like, it would be subtle like that. I'm glad they stuck to their guns with that and, like, didn't, like you said, James, didn't put it all in your face. But
I mean, I wish they didn't show it in the trailer. That would have been cool,
Yeah. I like that Tessa was the real main antagonist and how it connected to Dak, where like it was him versus his father, and her technically versus her sister, and it gave them that connection, and them having to separate themselves from that affiliation and say, I'm gonna become my own person. I wish they would have. Yeah, I wish they would have done more with Tessa, and that would have been a little bit more interesting. But it's just sort of like here she is, and that's it.
We don't get a lot of her, honestly. Like they show her like a few times, and then like obviously she shows up and captures her near the end of the film, and then she's in the loader suit. I don't know what it is actually.
Loader
mech. Yeah, loader mech. Yeah, Nabil, you're right.
Yeah, the shout out to Aliens. I like how she technically 100%. Became the predator and was the one hunting them. And that little flip on itself, and Dak and Thea had to be the ones defending themselves. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
there was a couple things where, quote unquote, the predator is the prey. Like they kind of did that a couple times with like, I don't remember what the beast is called. The main beast they're looking for is kind of, oh yeah, you're going to be the prey, and he's like, I'm not the prey, but like it's kind of a couple things in this movie are kind of more powerful than him, right? You kind of see that his brother was stronger than him early in the movie. His
at least like dad is stronger than him. Physically at least, right? Yeah. But that's the whole point. The
creature, and then Tessa is, until the end at least, is pretty strong as well, like giving him a hard time. So it's kind of nice that he's kind of overcoming a lot of these like more powerful things in the universe.
It's because he's smart. He's smart. That's why.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I feel like he overcame a lot of this quite quickly compared to where he was at the beginning of the film, just to like be able to. Maybe because he was given the opportunity to use his brains rather than brawn, as he was trying to do in the opening fight. But I do feel that that's kind of what his like strength was knowing that he's not going to be the strongest, but he's going to be the smartest, and try to outplay. Obviously, outplayed his father. So
which is a counter to, I think, his culture. They're more about brawn and about like physical strength, and so yeah, I agree, Nabil. I like that.
But honestly, like even like in the very beginning, he's fighting his brother to like practice, I guess, or like getting stronger so like he can overcome his challenge. And even his brother was like, "Hey, like you're not stronger than me. Like use your area, like use the things around you to help like defeat me." So he's even trying to say, "Hey, use your smarts. You're not going to be using your brawn." So it was kind of interesting that he realized that.
They use it too to show that he doesn't give up, though. Remember, he's like, "I never yield."
Yeah. Let's kind of go towards the ending here. So he ends up, defeating Tessa and kind of getting his thing going, and then he goes back to his homeland to get his treasure, which he was doing all this to get, like his invisibility cloak. So he's going back to take his trophy back to his dad, who is the leader of the clan.
Quick thing for that. Did you like the fact that he's the wolf predator?
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was a cool callback.
Yeah,
a lot.
I like that too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he looks sick. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But once again, like Nabil would say, probably just sell a toy, I guess. But I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
A McFarlane collectible or something too. I don't know. So.
Well, that was his level up process, right? He went through.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Mikey. That was his. That was his
power
OP
leveling,
armor.
so it could be
That's the accessories, guys. You gotta get
that's his end
separately.
game. That's his end game set.
Yeah, and then we go to the optional boss, which is his dad. So
yeah, that was the DLC. Just
yeah,
see where it goes from there.
I paid $25 for that.
Yeah, that's the actually. If you don't play the DLC, you don't see the real ending. What? Sorry,
so
Mike,
he
go
goes
ahead
back
about
to
the
his
ending,
dad. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, he goes back to his dad. He throws Tessa's head at him and says, "Here's my trophy." And he's like, "WTF? What's going on here?" And then they obviously battle it out. And also, it's kind of weird. Like they mentioned like a female predator, which we've never even heard of before. But like at the very, very end, like that's my mom kind of thing, right?
They
From
showed
the
the
video
Predator
game?
Killer of Killers too.
Oh, that's right.
Female?
Yeah,
There's a female in that one.
There is. Yeah,
I thought that was the same chick actually that pops up. I was like, is that her?
It's definitely the same area, and the ship that they're flying is the same ship,
exactly
right?
the same. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like,
pretty
is that the
sure
same
it is.
one?
Yeah, that's true. But I like that. I like how it teases, a potential team up, with having to face like the I guess the matriarch of his clan. It does leave it open for a potential sequel or whatever direction they want to go to. It leaves it open for that, whether it's a further crossover with the Alien franchise, or if they want to, bring back the chick from Prey, or if they want to, somehow quote unquote resurrect Dutch and use a CGI body like they tried to do with the Terminator movies and it didn't look good. I don't know. Like that.
Under my understanding is they're going to do another animated movie with all of them. So,
damn, no, that's
that makes sense. And then
you do not want to see
bigger.
a CG. Yeah, you don't want to see a CG Danny Glover and Arnold, dude. I'll take an animated movie with their voices.
That's kind of everything here. Does anybody have anything they want to just expand on or talk about that we haven't done yet?
I can't wait to get the Bud action figure of her being a little bigger. So,
the second stage at the end.
Nabil, are you talking when Groot is his second form of Groot, basically?
Yes, the Transformer. Yeah.
He's basically
I am Groot.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long has it been?
I can't wait for Bud to be an unlockable skin on Fortnite.
No, actually, Bud at this point would be a sidekick. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the second stage could be a skin. Yeah.
Too big, too creepy, way too creepy. I was like, it's got a lot of muscles. All right, that wraps up episode 211 of the Movie Pals podcast. Marco, let everyone know how they can keep up with us.
You can find us on every major podcast platform, so follow and listen wherever you like. For links to all our socials and more, head over to linktree/moviepalspod. That's linktr.ee/moviepalspod. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss an episode for this hunt or the next.
And check us out on TikTok at moviepalspod for sneak peeks, quick takes, and behind-the-scene clips. We've also got a brand new Discord community for all you film fans. Share your hot takes, ask questions, and hang out with us and fellow listeners. The invite is in our Linktree.
And coming up next, episode 212, where we will be continuing our favorite films of the century with movies from 2010 to 2014, as well as a review of probably my favorite film of the year, Wicked for Good.
Well, hopefully you make this episode this time, Nabil. Thank you for listening. This is the Movie Pals signing out.